Okay, we are trying something different today. I just saw a video that's designed for the YouTube creators that said you could use their built-in live and not need any special software. Now, obviously, with special software, you have better control. You can do titles and you can do tickers and you can drop in slides. Now we're just literally talking to a camera. So I wanted to see if it worked. And it seems to work. Two people have responded. That's a good sign. I just found something out. Okay, let me go ahead and actually make this stream worth talking about for a few minutes because it's like, okay, for a long time. Hi, everyone. I'm glad, thanks for letting me know it's working. I just found out that being subscribed to someone's channel is not sufficient if you want to be told they've released new content. And as you know, I do one live stream a week, and then if I can, I drop in a video in the middle of the week. And you would think a subscription would then give you that content. For example, I subscribe to TV shows, right? I pick a show I like, I tell my DVR record it, and it finds every new episode and actually downloads it. Now I realize YouTube's not going to download it, but I'd like to be told Philip DeFranco has a new video, which is a channel I watch relentlessly. I watch it every day pretty much. But apparently, if you subscribe to a channel, but you don't click the bell, you're not going to get notified. And a couple of people were saying that the subscription button for them was like a bookmark. So they can bookmark a lot of channels, but not get told there's any new content. And that way they can go through their bookmarks. Well, then make a bookmark. Because now apparently, if you are following my channel, you have to click the bell, which is to the right, and it's much smaller next to the giant subscribe button. And then you get a notification there's something new. Well, there's 36,000 subscribers on this channel at this time. Thank you, guys. And, videos, depending on what the content is about, get, an average of 2,000 to 4,000 views, which means 31,000 people didn't bother. And, I've mentioned this in the past just because the numbers don't make sense to me. And I like numbers to make sense. But if you don't have, if I release something for you guys to watch, I'm kind of wanting all of you to watch it. And I understand some people quit the hobby or well, that's the best answer, right? They quit the hobby, but they didn't unsubscribe. I mean, I guess it's possible. I kind of go through my bookmarks once a year and clean them out, and I go through my subscriptions more often than that and delete things I don't watch. I get added to Facebook groups against my will, and I remove myself from those all the time because I only need a few groups. I don't need to have hundreds and hundreds of groups. And so to have a subscription to my favorite channel and then not be notified and find out that I need to click a bell, or the fact I need to tell all of you guys, you need to click a bell if you want to hear the latest, seems kind of redundant to me. I don't really like that system. So yes, I got to rant a little bit about that today because apparently everyone needs to click the bell so that you can see the 1 or 2 videos I drop each week. I intentionally do not spam you guys. I don't just release stuff just to release stuff. I typically want a topic. Okay, I'm reading the comments as they're rolling here. And one person said, or maybe the people died. Well, I don't think that many died. There's a few people that can, there's even people that are out of the hobby that subscribe anyway. And they watch the channel and they like to see the videos in my tank and so forth, because it kind of reminds them of what they used to have, or maybe right now they can't keep a tank, but this keeps the passion alive in their heart. And I've heard that from a few people. They said, man, your stuff makes me want to start a new tank. And, that's great because eventually, there's no reason to ever not resume the hobby. There's times where you might have to take a break, work, major issues in your life interfere, or, you just can't afford it for a while. But then, you come back to it, and that makes sense. So I get it. I don't know. And I'm not the only channel. I mean, I look at other guys' channels. I look at Philip DeFranco. Like I said, I watch him every day. And he has some, I should know this by heart, but I mean, he's got, millions of subscribers. But yet his video that came out for the day has like 1 million views instead of 6 million, which you would think 6 million subscribers, 6 million views. Like, it should just be a given. And, I know not everyone's going to watch everything. And Phil does a video every day of the week. So I get that. That's too much. But when you have someone releasing something once a week, I'd kind of think you'd watch it. And at the very least, you should be notified that there's a video. So that, I mean, I had someone recently say something like, I watched all your stuff, but they hadn't. And they subscribed a long time ago, but never actually got a bump to bring them back to the channel. And according to, I'm going to actually give you guys a link to this video. Oh man, I lost it. I moved off of it. This Creator Insider channel, they were saying that YouTube only notifies your active participants and those that click on the bell. Those are the only ones that get notified. And anyone else that's subscribed, they probably won't get a notification, but occasionally, maybe once in a blue moon. And that's just, I don't know. That bugs me. That's not right. So yeah, please click the bell. Tell your friends, click the bell. I guess for the next few videos, I'll be saying, please click the bell. So that's my topic. Do you want to talk about anything else tonight? Feel free to hit me with some questions. Let me answer a few questions, and then I got to melt some fish food, and I've got to go ahead and feed my babies because it's time. All right. Raj Jelly, you're having success. I mean, obviously, multiple years with fish, but corals just don't work out. It could be that the lights are just not sufficient for your tank. It could be the water quality isn't ideal. You would have to record. I mean, you'd have to, yeah, you got to record, but you have to take all your parameters and get those details together for me and post them, and then I'll see what I can do to help you. Feeding videos. Okay, on my channel, if you go probably to the bottom of the screen on the homepage of YouTube, YouTube/melevsreef, there is a playlist, and it's all the feeding videos all together. So you can check out as many as you want. You can jump around. I know, I agree. Not everyone has time to watch videos. MRV02011 said, you can't get everyone to watch, but you would think that your bulk of your viewers would be watching your videos when they have time, because there's no time limit on when a video is released. I uploaded a video about the laser 3 years ago, right? And it probably has 80,000 views or something. That's fine. I mean, and that's double my audience. So it shows that people that are not subscribers watched. But when I upload a video about I don't know, a skimmer, you would think that the bulk of the audience would watch that video, especially if it's not about a certain skimmer, but it's about, like I have one video that's best practices for setting up a protein skimmer. And then I mentioned the NIOS in there. I discussed it, but I was talking about all the things to do to run it successfully. And that should be every user, every subscriber, I would think. That's just me. And now someone's going to say, but not everyone has a protein skimmer. Yeah, I get it. But you kind of get where I'm coming from, right? Larry Jordan asked, what do I think about the Dallas North Aquarium? It's too far from my front door. But other than that, beautiful store. And I like going through all their goodies. I love looking at their corals and fish. And especially their invertebrates. And Terry Davis mentions, you can't always watch live. But, the live video becomes a permanent video on the channel, so you can watch it anytime. Ivan asks, do you have any experience with chloroquine phosphate? Did I say that right? Chloroquine? For treating marine ick? No. Do I quarantine fish? No. I use Safety Stop. It's something I've talked about, and I have a video on my channel about that. How many skunk clownfish do I have right now? I still have all 11, and it's been 2.5 years, going on 3. TJ Howell says that he's getting all the notifications. So, okay, that's cool. Let's see. Danny Warple said, I put a new fish in, and now I have ammonia in my tank. What should I do to get rid of it? The ammonia should convert to nitrite and then convert to nitrate. What is your level of ammonia? Let me just ask you that. Have you tested for it? What's the number? It should be very low, like maybe 0.25. That's kind of okay in a saltwater tank. But anything higher is going to be, it can burn their gills. Sam Bo, thank you very much for enjoying my website. The whole reason I set up melevsreef was for content to help people become more educated. And it's filled with articles. So, I know a lot of people want things on YouTube, and I've been gradually talking more about the things on my website, but the website's there to help you any time of day. You can just Google anything on there. Let's see. The person that's kind of debating me on this about, how many things to watch, his name is My Opinion. It's the perfect name for someone that's going to disagree with you on something. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, not everyone watches every sports game of their favorite team, but they still like the team. That's true. But then again, I'm not a sports guy, so your analogy barely makes sense to me. Let's see. Oh man, I missed the Melev and Quicksilver podcast. That was so fun. It's still available on evanluck.com. If you go there, evanluck.com/reefcast, you can find all our podcasts. There's about 31 of them on there you can download. They are really old, but they're still hilarious. And the information we talked about is still valid. We need a tank update and a frag tank update. All right, well, the tank is doing great. And I think I just released a video not too long ago showing the tank. There'll be another one coming soon. But overall, it's doing really well. Just all the little frags are becoming little tiny colonies. I wish they were bigger. The frag tank looks like crap. It's just awful. That's a work in progress, like usual. Hello, Reef community worldwide. Let's see. Thank you, Chris, for watching all my videos. I hope you've clicked the bell. So crazy. I have to tell people to do that. It's like, I'm supposed to tell you this? Someone said, what did you do before you caught the fish tank's disease? I don't understand the question to answer it. Sorry. Terry, which link do you need? And I'll get it added later. Patty O'Grady, you started using the Mandarin Diner to feed your fish in your tank recently, but you're worried that your potter's wrasse is going to eat some of the pods as well. That's okay. You just put in a little bit more food. Tips on keeping rock flower anemones. They're really simple. You can just basically put them in the tank where you like them, and typically they'll stay pretty much in that spot. They might wander, an inch here or there, but find a spot you really like and put it there and hope for the best. Other than that, normal reef parameters are all you need. And you could occasionally feed it. A rock or flower anemone can eat fish, so keeping that guy fed should help. And the fish tend to know not to get near it. Rico's Reef says, we need more podcasts. If I had time to do nothing but just entertain you guys, I would do it. What are the easiest clams to keep? Asked Oscar. Well, probably a Durasa. And that's just one of many species. A lot of people get those. Myself, I prefer the Maxima. I don't really know that it's harder than the other. There are some clams that are very difficult, like the Gigas. I mean, that's a giant clam, uses a lot of calcium, and I wouldn't recommend that to a new person. As a matter of fact, someone with experience, I don't even have one. I don't have one, and I got a lot of experience. But some clams are definitely going to be very hard to keep happy. And when I visited the Dallas World Aquarium in Dallas, they had these huge Gigas, and the curator told me, if you just look wrong with those clams, they just go up in smoke. I mean, they just die. So, I mean, I don't know how often they're replacing one, but that doesn't sound like they stay with them long term. Patty, you can buy more pods. There's different companies that sell them. Here is a free plug for Algae Barn. Is that going to really read backwards on your camera? Well, anyway, it's Algae Barn. They sell pods. And then there's another company that's in Houston area, I believe, called something pods. Build Your Pods. Anyway, there's different companies you can buy pods and you can replenish to your tank. And you add the pods at night when the lights are out. So that way the fish will not devour them as they hit the water. You want them to get in the rock work so that they're living and breeding in the rock work, and then the fish can pick them off occasionally. But just pouring them in the tank to where all the fish can just eat them like confetti, then you have no pods again. Let's see. My Walt Disney frag is doing great. It's still tiny. I posted some pictures in my blog that's on melevsreef. You can see how small they are. Someone just said, Hang on, let me scroll back up. Okay, someone's asking, what was your profession before you got into this hobby and made it a full-time job? I used to, well, I did a lot of things over the years, but for a long time, I stripped and waxed floors. So if you've ever been in a Domino's Pizza, if you've ever been in a Fast Signs, if you've ever been in a Lens Crafters, if you've been in Mr. Jim's Pizza, all these places that have VCT tiles specifically, I stripped and waxed those floors at night while you were asleep, while they were closed. I did KinderCare and La Petite Academy. I had a lot of clients over the years. And it was because I stayed in that business for so long. What was strange to me is that anywhere I could drive in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I would see places that no longer existed that I used to clean. And I was like, wow, I'm still around and they're gone. And that's kind of a frightening thing when you think about how businesses open and close. You know, I mean, the money they invested in the company and then the company's gone. I mean, they just lost their savings. They lost their business for whatever reason. And I just kept stripping waxing those floors at night. And I did it for a long time till I was sick of it. And back in 2009, I said, that is it. I am not mopping another floor. And I have been just doing melevsreef exclusively ever since then. So my joke, which I mentioned before, was that I would tell people I used to be a professional stripper. The anemone cube is doing great. Let's see. Burning Lion asks, is there any tips for splitting a bubble tip anemone? And there is a way to trigger it. One of the best ways of doing that is to feed it really well every single day for, you know, like 5-6 days in a row, and then do a huge water change. And you could cause them to split that way. Myself, I don't actually make them split. They just occasionally split, like about once a year, they'll split. I believe right now I have a rose that is splitting deep down in the rockwork because the tentacles are here and they're down here and they're down here. So I think there's something happening, but it's way in a crevice down low in the tank. And to be honest, I kind of wish my entire aquascape was turned around and all the roses were visible and all the brown anemones were in the back. Unfortunately, the prettiest batch, the Sherman roses, they're all in the back of the tank. It's kind of a bummer. Michael Black asks where to place your brain coral, mid-tank or on the sand. I put it on a rock. You can put it down on the sand, you know, but on a rock so no sand gets into that coral because it'll irritate the tissue. So kind of get it up off the sand, you know, a half an inch higher. And then you can move it up a little bit higher. But it'll do pretty well down low. And a lot of times when I see maze corals when I'm diving, it's not up high. It tends to be down low and in a big wide open area surrounded by sand, but not sunken into the sand. Does that make sense? Awkward Fish, I saw this question in my last chat and I didn't reply to you. I apologize. I have the Reef Bright Twin Arc metal halide bulbs. And Premium Aquatics is one company that sells them. If you can't get what you're looking for, you can let me know because I have contacts with Reef Bright. A 14K bulb or a 20 or a 1010. And that makes no sense to me. I love that mine are 10K and then I turn them off and they turn on, you know, 30 seconds later and they're 20K. And that's fantastic. And I've told these guys in the past, I said, look, if you're going to stop making that particular bulb, tell me now so I can buy a stash of them so I'm good for the next 5 years. And they just laughed at me and said, what are you talking about? We got plenty of bulbs. I'm like, okay. But I just don't understand why any hobbyist would want a double of the exact same color spectrum. You know, yes, the bulb should in theory last longer based on what they've described, but to me, it's the same color all the time. So instead of having to take down the fixture once a year to change out the bulb, you can wait 2 years. I mean, I don't know. I take down my fixtures about every 3 months to clean them anyway. So it would be no big deal at that time to swap out a bulb while the fixture was down and being wiped down. Okay. Mr. Reef Buster asks, can you show the Aptaser killer laser again? I had a couple of friends over here last night and they said, let me see your new laser. And they were blown away. And I said, do not kill my Aptasia. I've got this little patch of Aptasia in the anemone cube. They're right in the front, perfect for the video. And I said, go kill that Mahano over there. And so he did. and I had 2 pairs of the protective goggles, and I said, and I had to explain the warnings, and then I walked away because I don't want to be near it while they're doing the laser. I don't want to get a reflection or look at it and hurt my eyes. So they were having a blast, and he says, "You can hear the crackling right through the walls of the tank." I know, it's awesome. So that video is coming, and I need to do it very soon because number one, you guys are bugging me. Where's the video? Where's the video? I get that, and the other reason is because the peppermint shrimp are getting more effective in that tank, and I don't want them to destroy my prime candidates, my future victims. I want to laser those bastards and then let you guys see that. So I want to film that very, very soon. Maybe I'll have time tomorrow. It's not going to happen tonight. Okay, and it's not near me. I can't, I'm wired in too. So you will see it in that video, and then I will provide the link because I have a feeling it's a winner. Everyone said, "Where's the link? I want to order. I want to order." Like, I just want to make sure it's a good product first, and I think it's going to be fine, honestly. Let's see. There's a lot of a lot in this chat. Some of you guys took off on me here. I'm trying to see where I left off. Okay. Is there a snail that's best to keep with a melevsreef wrasse? That's a great question. I would say get a lot of snails, because that way as your wrasse eats 1 or 2 or a few of them, you still have plenty more. But a snail that the wrasse would not hit, serifs maybe? Not a lot of meat in those things. They're kind of protected by their shell. Dion asks, how long do you wait to add coral to your newly set up reefs in the past? Okay, I'm assuming you mean when I've set up my tank fresh. And typically every time I do a tank, it's almost always been a transplant, which means that I set up the tank, I got it cycled, I got it rock solid, the filtration's tied in, the sump's running, skimmer's running, your refugium's going, and then I would just move all my livestock at once. And then, of course, give it time to kind of adapt and deal and feed my fish and stay on top of water parameters. And then I would start picking up more frags to fill in my empty spaces. So I probably waited 6 or 8 weeks. And, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because it occurred to me, I go to fish stores, from time to time. I just went to some last weekend, and I go to the one right here by my house at Frank's Tanks. But even though I kind of walk in, I get the one thing I need, which is typically frozen fish food. I'm not there like going through the tanks looking for corals to buy. I haven't done that in forever. And it occurred to me yesterday, I don't actually do that. And I bet most of you do. You probably go to the store and you just explore and you look at all the frags and try and find the awesome coral you want. And I just have so many corals in my tank that I'm usually not looking for a new one. And I have to actually put myself in the mindset, I need to go look for XYZ. And or even at the frag swap, or when I was at the Reef Expo, in Seattle, I'm looking at all the frags, and it's like, oh, that's neat. But I was thinking about the effort of getting it home alive because I was traveling, I was flying. It's not like I'm just down the street. But I'm not looking to buy corals. I guess because I know as soon as I come home, I have to dip it, and then I have to get it in my tank, and I got to find a good spot for it, and I have to have a spot for it, and so that's my answer. It just depends. I'd be in the mood. Let's see. Some of you guys are giggling about me being a stripper in the past. Let's see. I need to do an update on Tammy's Reef. I am so sorry that's not done. I was trying to do it like a few weeks ago, and I could not find microphone number 2. I'm like, are you kidding me? I found it, so I'm good. And I just happened to be in a group chat with her and some of my friends recently, and apparently she's looking for a new place to live. So I better get over there ASAP before there's a big tank being moved. Do you acclimate pods? Great question. And yes, you do. If you buy pods from anywhere, let's say you go to the fish store and they sell bottles of pods from Reef Nutrition, for example, those are usually refrigerated. And you're supposed to open the cap the day you're going to add it to your tank. Matter of fact, you're supposed to open the cap as soon as you buy it and leave it popped open so air can get in the bottle. But the water is cold, and so the pods are kind of in hibernation mode. Take them out and put them into room temperature the day before you're going to pour them in your tank. And you want them to be as close to the same water temperature as your reef, sort of like acclimating a fish, because when you pour them in, you don't want them to go into shock and just die. So if you were to take a bottle of cold pods and pour them in your tank, you're just going to basically make potato chips. It's not going to make it. All right, let's see. My tank right now is in 20K mode, so there's really nothing to show you. So that's not going to work. Hello, Howard from Whitestone. Whitestone where? Reef Community Worldwide is bragging that he has SPS growing like weeds. Way to go. Hello, Dave's Nano Tanks. All right, let me see. Rob Freeman asks, if I leave all the livestock out of the tank for 4 weeks, will this eliminate ick and velvet? Both? At the very least, your tank has to be fallow, which means no fish of any kind, for a minimum of 6 weeks. And you could go even longer. Ick is not the same as velvet. Velvet is not the same as ick. We use a fallow tank to get rid of ick. I do not believe we use a fallow tank for velvet. That's something you're going to have to Google. I don't have an answer to that. Do I feed my SPS? No, I do not. I just feed my fish, and my fish poop all over the tank, and apparently the corals are snacking on that. Let's see. Howard Bash says, I've tried several different biopellet reactors, and they all seem to leak. The O-ring and the thumb screws don't really seem that reliable. I typically love having a reactor inside my sump. So if it were to leak, it's leaking in the sump. I've been using the same couple of reactors now for 5, 6 years, and they're made by Next Reef, which they're no longer around. But I use the same thumb screws. They have the original O-rings, and they're working fine. You might be able to put new O-rings. You might even put silicone grease on the O-ring and try to tighten down on the reactor you own and see if that will help a little bit. Silicone grease is completely safe. And then somebody replied and said, O-rings suck. And I'm going to tell you, suction cups suck. But O-rings usually are okay. You might just need some new ones. That's the same. By the way, if you didn't know this, you may need to replace the O-rings in your RODI system. You know, the housings that screw on have an O-ring in them. Those don't last forever. They get flat, and then they can start leaking. All right, let's see. Man, there's so many. I'm way behind on the chats. Let me see if I can catch up. I've never tried a foul fish. Sorry. Can't help you with that. Raj Jelly said that his solution to Mahano anemones was the raccoon butterfly fish. But he didn't put that in a tank with corals, which makes sense. I don't know if the laser would work on algae. I don't really have some algae to try it on. I guess I could shoot some bubble algae maybe and see what happens. Hi, Tina's Reef. Let's see. Mr. Reef Buster asks, any tips on hybrid lighting, like a T5 LED combo in particular? One that I hear about the most is the one from Reef Bright. And they have their beautiful blue LEDs, and they've got their special T5s that don't get hot. The ones you can actually put your hands on. It's phenomenal. That would be a hybrid one I would do research on and see if you want to go that route. Sambo asks, how do you take care of red slime and algae? If we're talking about cyanobacteria, I would tell you use red cyano RX or ChemiClean. And on my website are the exact instructions of how I say you should use it for success. Nico Okumu asks, anyone know how to get rid of dinoflagellates? You need to Google that one. It's a big topic. If it's very limited in your tank, you just have a tiny bit, you can go ahead and you can treat your tank with hydrogen peroxide. And it's 1 milliliter per 10 gallons of liquid volume. And you do it every single day for 8 days in a row. And I have done that in my own tank when I had a little tiny bit of dinos and I got rid of it. But if your tank has more, you're going to need to do something a little more involved. Let's see. All right, a lot of conversation. Does YouTube fully support my income? Ha! I wish. You know, there was a guy who did a video, and it crossed my Facebook feed, where he said he bought a $40,000 aquarium. So, of course, I watched the video because I wanted to see what a $40,000 aquarium looked like. And he went to some fish store. And so I'm looking at his video, and I'm looking underneath, and he has something like, 3 million subscribers or some big number like that. And then, because I'm plugged into YouTube, it shows, what the person might be making. And, they show the low and they show the high of the potential earnings of that YouTube creator. And this guy doesn't even talk about aquariums. He probably talks about sports cars and beautiful women. But this one video is about an aquarium. And it was saying that he would typically make about $100,000 a month. And I'm like, so jealous. If I was making even 10% of that a month on YouTube, I would stop doing anything else but YouTube. Yeah, I mean, why not? But that is not the case. No, I make a tiny little bit from YouTube, which helps me pay for things like microphones and lighting, and most of it, it's very little, honestly. I mean, I'm not lying. I'd love to see the number be bigger. Maybe someday it will, but my income is melevsreef, where I sell things that are in my shop. I build things out of acrylic for my customers, like sumps and top-off containers and skimmer stands and auto feeder chimneys and all kinds of acrylic things. And then I sell Ecotech products, and I sell Coral View products, and I sell ELOS test kits, Blue Life products like Phosphate RX, which I love and always talk about all the time. So that's how I make my money. But oh man, it would be awesome to have a ton of money coming away from YouTube so I could travel. Because then if I was traveling, I'd have way more stuff to show you guys video-wise. It'd be a lot of fun. Let's see. All right. Oh, by the way, well, you're going to hear it in the laser video, so I'll just save it for later. Nico says I should be doing more blogs, and you're right. I just put one up, and I realized I hadn't done one in almost a month. For a while there, I was doing one almost every week, and I don't know, I just got crazy busy. And sometimes I'm really motivated, and I'm really excited, and I have lots to share, and sometimes I just kind of fall off the face of the earth a little bit when it comes to blogging on my site. Terry Davis, I was spreading my knowledge through my website originally. I started my website, I think in around 2003, 2004, probably 2003. And back then, there was a website called blogger.com, and you could just log into it. You went to blogger.com and you logged in your name and you type your blog and it would populate it to your website. It was fantastic. And then one day Google, I think, acquired it and said, we're shutting it down. And it made it really difficult for me to add any more blogs to my website. I actually had to take the code from my website, the actual HTML page, drag it into Dreamweaver, change some code, correct some HTML, write my script, insert my images, and then upload all that to my website. And it became quite the ordeal. So that's gone. Long gone. I have been blogging for quite a while now. I did several years of blogs on reefaddicts.com. That's another website of mine. And it's just idling. It's got a lot of good information, but I'm not really populating it. So the content's still there. But the majority of my effort is into melevsreef because that's where it all started, and that's kind of my umbrella of where I want to keep all my information. Let's see. Patio Grady asked me if I'm fully recovered from my surgery and won't need more. I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like I need another one of these discs installed. They did one, and I feel like they should do one above it or one below it because I still have a lot of neck pain. I was really hoping the gym was going to resolve it, but after 3 months of going to the gym, I have not seen any real improvement in that area, unfortunately. They kept saying, well, if you tighten your core, you'll feel better. Well, no, it still hurts. And there's days where I go to the gym and it's hurting really bad, and it's really hard to work out when you're hurting. So I've had to avoid certain areas, avoid certain actual exercises. Like there's this one thing, I don't know what it's called, but there's a bar and it's in a frame, and you have to put on the back of your neck and stand up or lift up and bring. No, it had to be on your neck, and you had to, I think you're doing squats. Anyway, it messed up my neck so bad, like I'm never doing that one again. So let's see. Oh. Bart Newell says, what's the best course of action for a dude who can't set up a sick tank or a hospital tank and just had marine velvet outbreak in his zoa garden? You have to set up a hospital tank. You have to treat for velvet or let those fish die and go fishless for a while, I guess. And I mean, you have to. There's certain things you just have to do. If everything's going great, you don't need a hospital tank. But when things go wrong, it's just like you. You don't live in a hospital. You probably never go to the hospital. But if you're really sick or you're badly injured, guess where you're going to go? You're going to go to the hospital temporarily. You're going to have find a spot in your place for this hospital tank. Malum Nyan asks, methods for nitrate reduction in a nano tank. Water changes, big fat water changes. Since it's a nano tank, it's small, changing 5, 10, 15 gallons of water at a time is going to cut your nitrates down significantly the more often you do it. And it's the cheapest way of doing it, by the way, because all it is water and salt. My favorite fish, Pickleboy80 asks, I think I just have to go with Spock. The mandarin, though, I have a very special love for the mandarin. But Spock's been with me so long, been with me since 2004. And that's a NASA tank, by the way, if you guys don't know that. But the mandarin is just so beautiful. The psychedelic mandarin with the blue. I have a picture of it right up there. Right behind my head, right there. That's actually my first mandarin. Michigan fan says he'll never have another back surgery. Mine was actually through the front. It was weird, right? Because they're working back here, but they went through the front. Raj Jelly asks, have you ever thought about fusing? If you take your bones of your neck and you fuse them together, you can no longer turn your neck, especially depending where it's located. I know someone who's had multiple bones fused, and now they can't even do this to drink, and that person has to drink with a straw. So I'll show you guys a picture real quick. Want to see my neck? Show you guys a picture of my neck. So, whoops. That right there is my neck, and right there is the artificial disc they put in there. And basically it looks like an Oreo cookie. See that? And that's what allows me to still turn my neck. So I'm glad I have that. Recovery time from that surgery was a few weeks, where apparently recovery time from fusion is about 3 months. So that's another reason to go with the disc if you can do it. And my doctor called it a bionic disc. So I feel a little bit special in that regard. Let's see. Howard Bash, you should watch my Mandarin Diner video on this channel, because I talk about putting pellet food inside a jar and lowering it in your tank and letting the mandarin swim in and eat that. And you can put different foods in there. You can put fish eggs in there, like roe. You can put in frozen foods in there, because the other fish won't be able to get it, because the mandarin goes, like I used an olive jar, which those jars are tall and they're very narrow. You lay it on its side, and it's sort of like a test tube for the fish to swim in. And that works out really well. Let's see. Alrighty, I think I answered all your questions, and this stream seemed to work. So I'm going to hit end because I want to see what happens next. If you just joined the stream in the last few minutes, you missed my rant at the beginning. You need to click the bell to get the notifications that this channel is releasing new videos. Apparently, subscription alone is not enough, and you have to click the bell. Unbelievable. I just learned that tonight. I mean, I've been hearing about it for a while, and I've been kind of ignoring that message that other YouTube creators are saying. But apparently it's a big deal. If you don't click the bell, you're not going to know. And I have no idea how I'm going to let all the people that subscribe to this channel know, other than hoping they're going to watch the rant video about clicking the bell. Maybe I'll put in the title, click the bell. So that's about it. Matter of fact, it's 10:10. I got to go melt some fish food and feed my fish. So you guys, I'm going to have to let you go. Brinks, I'm going to answer your question really quick. No, I didn't have shooting pain from my neck down through my right arm, but my fingertips were numb. That was something that bothered me. And I had huge headaches. Usually the pain started here and worked its way up my skull. And I would usually be down 3 or 4 days a month where I couldn't do anything but stay in bed. I mean, literally just, I'd wake up, I was in so much pain. I said, well, there was Tuesday. And I would just wait until Wednesday and try again. I took a lot of pills. So where's the after party? Check Tidal Gardens. I bet he's got a stream coming up right after mine. You guys have a great night. Travis, no update on my nitrates. They're just what they are. So my brick has done nothing magical. Bye, guys.